Morning, Rock Hill. Here is your Tuesday morning sermon recap in case you missed things this Labor Day weekend. We finished our series Church on Fire in Acts chapter 19, looking at the church in Ephesus. And I said if there was any church in the New Testament that we could emulate and see the kind of work and movement of God that they saw, it would be the church of Ephesus. It was a long chapter telling us the story of the transformation of not only Ephesus, but the surrounding regions. And what I highlighted was their unique vision, not just to reach the city, but also to spread regionally as Paul was training up and discipling leaders that were then sent out to start churches in all of Asia Minor or modern-day Turkey. In the middle section, verses 11 to 20, we see these personal stories of transformation, whether it was just the power of God seen through the Apostle Paul in miraculous healings to confirm the message, whether it was the counterfeit examples of the 7 sons of Sceva being overpowered because they didn't actually possess the Holy Spirit, and being aware that the demonic realm is real, or whether it was all of these men who had previously practiced the dark arts, bringing 50,000 days' wages worth of magic materials and burning them as a way of saying, I'm turning from this way of life and I'm following Jesus because he's better. This city was flocked with stories of people being transformed by the grace of Jesus, which is what we want to see here. We talked a little bit about Rock Hill's vision to not just reach this city, but the entire Northland region through church planting and raising up leaders. I mentioned that Rock Hill Institute is going to be launching in October, and so if you want more information on that, I'd love to chat with you. And then finally, we see that the work of the gospel took root so deep that it actually began to affect their economy. That there was a guy named Demetrius, who was a silversmith and idol maker, who realized that his business was actually being hurt because people were no longer wanting to buy idols because they had found Jesus, the one that they truly desired. And so he tries to start a riot to get him kicked out of town. And I just started dreaming, what would it look like in our city if the gospel took root to such a level where it just changed the economy? It shut down things like drug dealing and made foster care not so needed, and divorce court not as much of a reality because the gospel of Jesus Christ has taken hold of people and families. And the thing I closed with, though, is that this church, while it had a great run, also by the time the book of Revelation was written, Jesus had some pretty strong words for them. He says, you have lost the love that you had at first. Do the things that you did at first. Recapture that initial love for Jesus, love for one another, or I will take your lampstand away. In modern-day Turkey, it's one of the least likely places in the world to find a believer in Jesus Christ. And so we are both encouraged by this church and warned by their example of not following through in longevity. So I encourage you to read the story. It's profound, it's encouraging, and would love to see that work take place here in Duluth. Hope you have a great week.